Alright, I got a 2014 Ford Confusion. Looked up a video earlier to how to get the starter off of it. And the only thing that came up in that criteria was some jerk off replacing or putting in some aftermarket garbage under the dash. Don't do that. So according to Identifix, you can just take off that charge tube right there, pop that little clip off of that hose up there, wiggle it out of the way, pull the bolts. You got a trigger wire and of course a hot cable on the starter, 2 bolts holding it on, and you should be able to finagle it through this hole right here. Sorry, I'm trying to get the light, but we'll find out here in just a minute. I'll come back when I get it off. So there's 2 clamps holding the charge tube on like this, and I kind of had to hold pressure on this. This is 7mm, so the clamp would open up and not just unscrew the worm drive screw. Somebody else has already been in here, so I'm gonna guess these were supposed to be 10mm nuts at some point. And these things are going to be stuck, and you actually want them to be stuck, because if they're not, when the turbo spools up, it'll blow the charge tube off. So I just took my heavy duty pick like this, went in there and just popped it loose like so on both ends. So this should just pop right out of here now. Okay, so these are the metal parts that I just showed was missing the 10mm nuts. They go on those right there. I actually had to use my trim removal tool because that right there gets stuck on the threads of those studs. Ford Genius engineering all the way. Alright, so I got the charge tube out, and that opens things up a little bit. So reach up there, you see that green, that's the oil pressure sensor. Pop that off. Right above that, I don't know if y'all can see it, that little gray clip holding the heater hose on, or bypass hose, whatever it is. Use the trim tool again, pop that off, and that'll expose one of the bolts that holds on the starter. Okay, so I'm back up top now. Try to get in here. See that nut right there with the cable attached to it? That's the ground cable. You gotta reach in there, pull that nut off, get off the ground cable, and that's the second bolt holding the starter on. Now, you see where that is? I swear these engineers get a hell of a laugh out of messing with technicians. Either that or they just don't want this stuff to be fixed. But yeah, this is me working behind somebody else. They put a head on it, got it out of time. This car's been a nightmare. Sorry about my attitude. So yeah, it was kind of a pain to get the nut off of the ground wire up there, and then get that bolt out that's actually a stud. And then I got this fancy long handled wrench I reached up there and cracked that one loose with. So I think Identifix might have been right, and that thing might barely sneak through there. But I used a 21mm to crack the oil pressure sensor loose because I didn't want to risk breaking it. Yeah, and of course it's gonna dribble on the floor. Oh, when you go to put this back in, see it's got thread sealer on it. You want to clean that up real good, put some thread sealer on it. Yeah, once I got the oil pressure sensor out of the way, I was able to fish the starter down here enough where I can get the wiring off of it, and it'll slide right out. Yeah, there you have it. So the wiring that goes on there, one of them's a 10, the little one, the big one's a 13, holds a hot cable on, and it's all in a little plastic, it's like a single unit. Probably not something I would want to do on my back in the driveway, because, well, I'm a certified tech, and it was kind of a pain. Way harder than it needed to be. But most things are on these newer cars. Anyways, hope it helps somebody out.